Welcome to Farm Science Review Harvest Live. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Mary. We are riding along with the Farm Science Review staff today as they harvest corn in London, Ohio at the Molly Caren Ag Center. This is our first virtual field demo. This is something new for us, and we really want it to be as interactive as possible. So if you're tuning in on YouTube and you have questions for any of the participants on this video, you can type those in the comments. If you're watching on Facebook, you can type those questions in the comments. We're monitoring those, and we'll answer your questions as we see them. We got several cameras set out in the field so that you can see different angles and different perspectives of what's happening with the equipment and what's happening in the field. And we're really excited about this. Tomorrow we'll be doing soybeans.
Yep, so let's go to Nick. He's the manager of the Farm Science Review. Nick, can you tell us a little bit more about Farm Science Review and the field demos?
Yes, Amanda, thank you very much. And every year at Farm Science Review, we have about 600 acres dedicated to field demonstrations. That's the most acres by any farm show that we are aware of in the world for field demonstrations, totally dedicated to that. So we're very, very blessed to have a great facility here to be able to do that, in addition to our 100 acres of exhibits and 100 acres of parking. So field demonstrations usually include the highlights, our corn harvest and soybean harvest, but have also included tillage, vertical tillage, planting, some technology demos, and many other things. So usually we have close to 100 pieces of machinery included in the field demonstrations from most major manufacturers. So Nate Doritas is our farm manager. He's also the chair of the field demonstrations committee. Nate is currently in the harvester and operating the corn harvest, and we'll be able to get to see that video here shortly.
Great. Next, Matt is the superintendent of the Molly Caren Ag Center. That's the site of the Farm Science Review. Matt, what's the history of the Molly Caren Ag Center?
Thanks, Amanda. It's really great to have everybody online with us today and participating. And, you know, we have a tradition, a storied tradition here at the Molly Caren Ag Center. We've been here 38 years hosting a Farm Science Review, and when we outgrew the Don Scott Field, Molly Caren came to the university and said, hey, I want to provide a place for you. And she donated 1,000 acres to the Ohio State University College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Sciences. And that was such a great opportunity to expand the college's breadth of research, education, and technology. And we're just able to capitalize on that throughout the years. And we're looking forward to another 50 years so that we can celebrate Farm Science Review with not only the production and the commodity groups across the state of Ohio, but also the nation. Since we're a national show, we always look forward to seeing how we can highlight all the different things that are going on. So we're looking forward to this year being able to be virtual, but also looking at what we do here in the future. So look forward to see what we have. Thanks, Mary and Amanda.
Thanks, Matt. We've got Nate Doritas, the farm manager, is out in the field in his combine. Let's take a look and see what Nate's doing out there. What are you up to, Nate? I still see Matt up there.
Nate, there you are.
Hey, there's Nate. Why don't you
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
tell us a little bit?
We're in our John Deere S770 combine. We're harvesting corn today. If you're familiar with the normal field demonstrations, we're in the Tuesday area. This field's got some challenges out here. Certainly the growth season was a little bit of a challenge, but we're excited to be out here. We're glad that you can ride along with us and see it from our perspective, from the combine, the grain cart, and the wagon. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Nate. We have a question for you that's come in the comments. We've got somebody wanting to know what the yields are looking like for you out there.
Yeah, so a challenging growing season. we only had a little over 9 inches of rain from planting to maturity with this corn in this field. So we were really dry midsummer through the finish. This is a 97-day corn planted on May 10th, and the field average right now is just below 150. That's a little light for what normal field demonstrations are for us, but considering the growing season, we're going to make the most of it.
What's the moisture at, Nate?
Today, it's running between 17 and 19%.
So you are getting ready to, let's go to Michael. Michael, you've always been pretty good at dumping on the run, but you've got some technology that makes it a little bit easier this year.
Yes, Amanda, thank you guys for joining us today. We have this cool new technology called Machine Sync. And what that is we're able to link the grain cart and the combine. And what that gives us the ability to do is the combine driver is able to control the grain cart hands-free via auto steer. He's able to bump me forward, bump me back, left, right, match my combine, whatever he needs to do based off of the fill in the wagon.
All right, very cool. Let's go back to Nate. You typically plant shorter season hybrids because of the demos, and we need to harvest those a little bit earlier. Talk a little bit about how you manage that.
Yeah, that's right. The difference we have compared to the rest of the farmers in our area is we know exactly what day we're going to harvest. And we're going to harvest on that day as long as we don't get rained out. So we've got to be prepared that the combines can come in and set up a little bit ahead of time. And we want corn that's mature or as close to maturity as possible for all those activities to happen. So we know typically we can start planting between April 25th and May 5th. We know how many GDUs we typically accumulate to be able to harvest around September the 20th. And we work with our seed company and or one of many seed companies that we work with. We choose the one that fits into that program, and usually we stick with it for a few years. We try a couple ones and make me the replacement. For corn, that's anything between 95 and 99-day corn hybrids. And on the soybean side, it would be very similar, 2.8 to 3.0 maturity.
So if you're just tuning in, remember we're doing a corn harvest demo live here at Farm Science Review. We've got Nate Doritas in the combine, and we've got Michael running the grain cart. We've also got a field tile demo going on at this moment. Alika's doing a demo out there, and we do have a camera out there if you want to take a look at what's happening with that. And if Nick is still on, or Nate, maybe one of you could talk while we're looking at what's happening at the tile demo, a little bit about what you guys have done with tile here over the past few years, and what this demo has added to the show.
And Nate, I'll start out, and then you can fill in the gaps for what I miss or incorrectly say. So Alika is the Ohio Land Improvement Contractors Association, and they do a field day every year during Farm Science Review. So installation of tile, of course, but also installing controlled drainage structures as well as water gates. So as we get over to the controlled water drainage structure, you can see that there, and that's a key part of nutrient management and water management moving forward in the industry. So there's different ways of controlling the water in the field per season when necessary, and be able to hold nutrients back in the field possibly at different times of the year. So a lot of research is being done at Ohio State and within USDA, NRCS, and several other agencies, and Ohio Farm Bureau is a big part of that as well. So a lot of work's being done there, And we're excited to have be a host to Leica every year for their demonstration. So not only do they do a little bit of tile installation, but they can do some education with their members and anybody that is usually attending Farm Science Review. So Nate, could you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, Nick. Yeah, the partnership that we have with the Ohio Land Improvement Contractors is a great partnership. We just talked about how critical the planning window is for us to have successful field demonstrations. And we have chosen fields that have needed the most work and the most improvement, and we prioritize those. And we've actually brought some of those fields up to the top performers with the drainage installations that we've done during those demonstrations. This year we also are revisiting a field that was some early technology on the water control side with drainage water management. Back in the early 2000s, we had control structures, but we didn't have what we call water gates. Those water gates are able to be installed below the surface in the tile, and they work in conjunction with the water gates at the edge of the field to be able to hold water back, not only for the plants to utilize the nutrients and the water, but also one of our best management practices of keeping nitrate in the field. So we're in that field this year. We're replacing some of the control structures that were originally installed with water gates, making some necessary maintenance improvements, and we'll see how that field does in the future.
Nate, have the control structures helped you save water at all throughout the dry season this year?
Yeah, this year was a challenge, but and it definitely varies by field. We've tackled a lot of challenging fields, just from a subsoil, water infiltration, what properties we have to deal with, like contour and natural grade in the field, and we're able to work on some of those a little bit differently. This year, the one that we watched the closest, we weren't able to hold as much water back as we can in some years, and I think that's because when it stopped raining, the soil profile wasn't full. We didn't have a lot of soil moisture. We just had a lot of nuisance rain leading up to that planting season, and then it just all of a sudden it stopped raining. So we just didn't have that rainfall to store the tile for the plants. Where some years we can store that excessive rainfall once planting and field operations are done for 2 to 3 weeks in some places.
Okay, so again, we're here with Harvest Live at the Farm Science Review. Let's take another look from the combine head to see going through the corn there.
Nate, you've mentioned this has been a challenging year with weather, and it seems like every year we have more and more weather challenges. And you're a person who gets to try out a lot of different technology here at Farm Science Review. Do you have any technology or management practices that you've ended up practicing that you've found to be most helpful to adapting to some of these extreme weather conditions?
Yeah, Mary, we do. We've been really challenged the last 2 planting seasons. And I think one of the biggest contributors to our success, in addition to the drainage improvements we've talked about, has been some of the strip till that we've been working on. In fact, this year we've begun to purchase and assemble our own strip till rig. But in the years leading up to that, we've partnered with some of our equipment providers like AgPro, and also the FABE team within the college, to be able to not only demonstrate, but to really get our hands wrapped around strip till. And I'm glad we had some strip till acres each of the last 2 springs that we could go to. And when other growers in our area were challenged with just not enough drying in a day or 2 days in a row, we found ourselves able to go to that strip till and get some necessary acres planted. windows are so short now that sometimes they're only a couple hours long between grain events. And that's been one of our biggest successes the last 2 years.
So is Michael going to fill the wagon now?
Yeah, so we just dumped again. Michael will be really close to having enough for a wagon load, so he'll head up there. I don't know if you'll be able to get the perspective there, but that tractor and grain cart is the new 8RX from John Deere, which is their new 4-track design, and it's pulling a Brent grain cart on their equalizer tracks. So we're very conscientious about compaction here, and we're really blessed to have some of the equipment that we do. And be sure you check that out. You can see it on the video and watch later this harvest and kind of see what it's been doing.
So Kaylee, are you able to get a view of them unloading the grain cart into the wagon? See if we have a shot of that to share with you. There we go. And just a reminder that you are able to ask questions through the chat. Tomorrow, we're going to highlight the grain handling system at the grain bins. So we'll be spotlighting that a lot more tomorrow, but once the wagon is full, that's where Allie will be heading with this wagon load.
So Nate mentioned working with the Department of Food, Agriculture, and Biological Engineering at OSU, or FABE. I know that Nate's done a lot of partnering with FABE on some different research projects and things like that. Nate, if you could tell us a little bit more about some of the highlights that you've partnered with them on this year.
Yeah, with our partnership with FABE and the larger collaborative effort of eFields, we really have tackled some of the most recent and relative issues and practices and challenges that growers are aware of and want more information on. Some of that is related to compaction, as I mentioned. So we've been doing a lot of planter pinch row compaction, and that project has evolved over the years, looking at tires versus tracks on the corn planter, and also the combination of the power unit or the tractor that's pulling it, whether we're also tracks versus tires versus configuration. Maybe it's a 4-wheel drive articulated tractor or a 2-track fixed frame tractor. So all that information is available in the eFields reports by year. So make sure you check that out. We're also now transitioning to those studies to a larger tracks versus tires comprehensive management study, looking at all equipment that's tracked versus all equipment that's wheeled for the entire growing season. Some of the other work we're doing is looking at sulfur applications to crops, both corn and soybeans. Also different management practices like 15-inch row corn. The Farm of the Future is a field we've set aside for the FABE team to evaluate where they think the future of production is going. And that field is a strip intercropping field with some strips of corn and soybeans. twin row spacing, 15-inch spacing, and a lot of neat things coming out of that research. So really, really happy with that arrangement, partnership, and I think we've all learned a lot from it. We're dumping on Michael again here. Machine sync. If you guys want to kind of follow along and see how that's working again, but I'm able to control the grain cart completely hands-free. It's matching my speed, and as we get full, I can fine-tune that.
Thanks, Nate.
Might check in with Allie sometime soon. She's headed up to the grain bins, and she'll be ready to dump that load of corn pretty quick.
Yeah, let's, Kaylee, I think is almost in place. Yeah, let's, Kaylee, I think is almost in place. Okay, so here's Allie pulling into the grain handling system at Farm Science Review. Okay, so here's Allie pulling into the grain handling system at Farm Science Review.
All right, so Allie's pulling in. We're doing the corn harvest live. Nate's mentioned that he's seeing moistures out there today around 17 to 19%. And this is 97-day corn that was planted on May 10th. And he's seeing yields around 150, which is a little low for here. But given the challenging weather we've had this year, it's looking pretty good.
So the Molly Caren Ag Center has had some updates recently to this area on their farm. They now have a pit for corn and soybeans. So Allie's, of course, dumping into the corn pit right now since we're harvesting corn. We'll take a look at that here.
Amanda and Mary,
Yes.
I have one announcement I would like to make. This is a great opportunity to announce the Farm Science Review Hall of Fame inductees for this year. And the great thing that I have the opportunity to do each year is be able to inform some individuals of their contributions throughout the years that makes Farm Science Review just that much better. And with the grain system that we have there, you see coming in, a lot of that system has some donations behind it. And there's individual companies that are a part of that, but most of the installations being done by one particular company nearby our site even, that's called MRC Sales and Service. And the owner of that company, his name is Mike Miller. And we have the honor of inducting Mike Miller into the Farm Science Review Hall of Fame this year. While we can't have a banquet where we would normally honor them and hand his award to him in person, we're going to have a banquet next year where we honor the 2021 inductees as well as the 2020. So Mike will receive his award there. And the other piece of that too, the equipment that we've been talking about today, it had to originate from somewhere. We have a lot of nice new machinery. It hasn't always been that way. You know, you always start from somewhere, and every farm operation is the same way. And at the Molly Caren Ag Center and at Farm Science Review, we've had some generous support over the years from some particular companies. John Deere has been a great supporter of Farm Science Review in this site, as well as Ag Pro, which used to be JD Equipment. So at the time, years ago, around the year 2000, conversations began to start about the equipment at Molly Caren Ag Center and how we can improve and do things just a little bit differently and better with new technology. Dave Donahue, who worked for JD Equipment at the time, was one of the leaders of that and did an excellent job gathering his troops together to be able to make sure that Farm Science Review and Molly Caren were state of the art when it came to equipment. So we still continue that collaboration today with Ag Pro and John Deere. And so that's where most of our equipment comes from. So the power units, the combine, the sprayer, you know, everything that John Deere makes that we have a need for. And I will say is sized appropriately and larger. So most of the machinery we have is a little bit larger than we need. We farm about 1,400 acres at the Molly Caren Ag Center. And the equipment that we have is very suitable for that. And we have high-speed planters in the spring, and Nate has a very nice large harvester to be able to accomplish things very quickly. So that really makes things easier to provide field demonstrations and quality field demonstrations. And I will say, you know, the weed control and the adaptations that we've been able to make through the sprayer with the technology that's available today makes a huge difference in providing a quality crop that's with great yields to be able to have a very nice demonstration that's suitable and representative of the farmers across the state of Ohio and the region and even across the United States in most areas. So thank you to Dave Donahue and Mike Miller, and congratulations on being inducted into the Farm Science Review Hall of Fame.
Thanks, Nick, and congratulations. So we're wrapping up Harvest Live here. If we have any questions, again, please put those in the chat box, but I think we're about ready to finish up.
We do have a soybean harvest demo tomorrow, and like Amanda mentioned, we'll be focusing on that grain system and talking a little bit more about that while watching Nate cut beans. And that's tomorrow at 1:30 at the same time, same place as today's harvest demo. Hopefully we'll have some of the kinks worked out for tomorrow. This afternoon, we'll have some hay demos posted online around 3 o'clock. So we'll also have those available. And tomorrow we're going to have some hay demos too. So we talked about the yields that Nate's seeing in the field around here, around London, and specifically at the Molly Caren Ag Center. But we do also have yield estimates for several counties throughout the whole state of Ohio. And those are all up on our agronomic crops site at the Farm Science Review. If you're interested to see what county estimates are looking like for both corn and soybeans around the state, check out that part of the review. And
I think we do have a little bit of drone video here to show you before we finish up. Nice overhead of the harvest. Let's see if Dan can get that up for us.
so this is the corn harvest demo happening today, Tuesday, at the Farm Science Review. Again, we'll have the soybean harvest tomorrow afternoon at 1:30.
We did have a nice comment come in. Nick, to you, and Nate, to your crew. You guys do a great job. Congrats on pulling off a great show, even though a bit unconventional. So we appreciate that feedback. The Farm Science Review staff has been working really hard to bring you guys some excellent content with the restrictions that we're under.
So this is just the first day of our virtual show. We'll be here all afternoon. We do have a screening of the movie Silo tonight at 7 p.m. and tomorrow night at 7 p.m. that you can register to view in your home. It's about grain bin entrapment, and this is actually National Farm Safety Awareness Week, or National Farm Safety and Health Week. So it's an important topic and a great film. So that's something, if you're interested, you can watch for free in your home tonight. Tomorrow we have more harvest demos and hay demos today and tomorrow, and a whole bunch of educational talks throughout the show.
Yeah, so to catch those, go to fsr.osu.edu.
Thanks for tuning in.
So just want to